Hey, everybody. Uh, Woo! Another week. Another week. Effed up again. Thank you, Natasha, for pointing this out. I guess we probably don't have a whole lot of viewers at all. Not a good way to get viewers when when there's no sound. Damn it. Okay. Well, let's try this again, shall we? All right. Coming back in 6.5 seconds. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Another week. It's Monday, September 11th, 2023. And it's not like I just screwed up my my week already. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got quite a story for you today. You know, they say you can fool some of the people all the time, and all the people some of the time, but it seems like we've reached the point where you can only fool people into doing things so many times. So here we are again, folks, with yet another round of booster shots. Yeah, that's right, baby. We're back. Like the latest reboot of a bad superhero movie franchise. COVID the sequel, the reboostering. I mean, I've lost count of how many shots they've given some people who are now on a first-name basis with their local pharmacists. They're practically family. You see, the FDA is given the green light to these new boosters. It's like just in time for fall. It's the gift that keeps on giving, or taking, depending on how you look at it. They say it protects us from new variants, but let's be honest, I've seen more variants of this virus than I have flavors of ice cream. And the CDC is having another meeting to discuss who gets the booster. Let me guess. Everyone. You get a booster, you get a booster, you get a booster. Oprah, eat your heart out. But the best part is, folks, is how they're trying to spin it. They're now calling it an annual immunization effort. Now, like it's some fancy wine tasting or something. Ah, yes, the 2023 vintage of the COVID vaccine. Notes of frustration with a hint of deja vu. And you know what's even more amusing? They're saying that these new boosters should protect us from many of the variants. Many? You mean like all the last ones? Yeah, okay. But look, I'm not anti-vaccine, and I'm not telling anyone else what to do. But it's starting to feel like that old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. Are we just making this shit up now? Folks, get ready for more shots. More booster debates and more confusion. It's a never-ending story, COVID, where the only plot twist is how many times we'll fall for it. Remember, the vaccine is here to protect us. And when has Big Pharma or our own government ever lied? My name's Tom Coffee. This is a Coffee Nuance Show. Best censored commentary news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good start to the Monday. Waking up to the news that the FDA has approved a new COVID booster. I will get it as quickly as I did the last one. Yeah. Anyway, now along with the flu vaccine and RSV protection. So the CDC has decided who gets them. And concern exists about low vaccine uptake and transitioning to private distribution. So uninsured individuals will have access to donated doses. Doesn't that make you feel good? The boosters target the XBB.1.5 variant, because we all know what that is, and it supposedly reduces severe illness risk. And they're claiming right now that it won't eliminate mild cases. So it won't eliminate mild cases, and it, well, okay. Well, it sounds like it really works, right? These are separate from the earlier boosters and do not cover the original virus. Getting vaccinated in late October can help curb the virus and reduce severe outcomes, including long COVID, according to the people that told you everything about all the last boosters and original vaccines. So there you go. This crap is back. What do you think? Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. It really depends on what part of the country you're in, and because depending on where you are, there's a totally different experience as to how this whole thing goes down. And I could possibly be in the most obedient and unquestioning and inflexible area in the entire world, and that's Portland, Oregon, where people are already, I'm seeing people already wearing masks. They're wearing masks driving alone in their car. They're wearing masks walking alone outside. I'm seeing these people every day now. People are masking up. So I think probably here a lot of people will be getting the booster. They'll line up for the booster, socially distanced, of course. But you know, your mileage may vary. You may be in a place with people with I don't know, more common sense. Anyway, yeah. So that's the big story today. I got a couple of stories to get through. Not a whole lot of news going on right now. Not a whole lot of news. It was really a slow news weekend, right? But I got a couple of stories, and the first one has to deal with you don't know what you don't know, especially in this case. Well, clearly I have misspelled this. Lithium mines. There we go. I fixed it. You know, folks, they say this lithium deposit near Nevada and Oregon is so massive it could power electric cars for centuries. Let's not get too excited. I mean, it's not like we've discovered a new source of common sense in politics. Now that would be a real game changer. So here's the story. Massive lithium deposit found near the Nevada-Oregon border could be one of the world's largest, impacting the electric vehicle industry with 20 to 40 million metric tons of lithium. Could alter the lithium prices and supply dynamics globally. However, more exploration and infrastructure development are needed. The race for lithium is intensifying due to the rise of electric vehicle demand, potentially causing supply shortages and geopolitical tensions. But this is good news, right? I mean, now we don't need, you know, perhaps we're not going to have 10-year-olds in Africa mine our lithium, like is what's happening right now, right? Maybe the 12-year-old kids will not have to be climbing around the lithium mines in Africa, and maybe, well, actually, that'll probably just keep happening. And here, at least in Oregon, you know, we're going to have to pay a pretty high wage for people to work in these lithium mines. It's still probably going to be cheaper to just get it from Africa. So I don't know if this is going to change anything or not. But they say it's one of the biggest lithium mines. We just found it. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. This story hasn't been out long enough for me to really get any opinions on any experts in the field, and I certainly am not. So anyway, but that's big news apparently. But now I want to get to someone else finally has stepped down. Ah, yeah. Chuck Todd hosted Meet the Press for 9 years, and now it's Kristen Welker's turn. I guess Chuck finally decided he'd had enough of trying to meet the press, so he's passing the mic. Here you go, Kristen. Have fun with this circus. So Chuck Todd has hosted NBC's political news show Meet the Press for the final time, making way for White House correspondent Kristen Welker to take over as host. Todd, who hosted the show since 2014, expressed his gratitude to viewers, passed the baton to Welker, and she was a White House correspondent since 2011, emphasizing her commitment to approaching the hosting role as reporter and continuing the show's legacy by asking tough questions and providing viewers with important information. On NBC, which is, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I've had a beef with Chuck Todd for a long time. I don't know. There's something about that guy that just really just bugged me. But I did, for many years, I liked watching Sunday morning political shows. You get up, you have your coffee, you put on the Sunday morning political shows. And that's pretty much the politics that I would watch during the... I don't have cable. I don't watch the other shows. But I like the Sunday morning shows. But Chuck Todd just bugged... It bugged me that this guy never even went to college, you know? And he had this cushy gig. Never studied journalism. Didn't even study it in high school. I don't even think he took a high school elective on journalism. But somehow he gets this big gig. I mean, who did he know to get such a thing? But on NBC, you will find that anybody that works for NBC News will really carry the torch of whatever the State Department wants. They will, that's the message that they will put out. Don't expect any critical thought or independent thinking from Kristen Welker. But at least this time they found someone that they can kind of justify. I mean, she did actually go to college. She went to Harvard. I mean, she got an undergrad in like liberal arts. You know, so there you go. There you go. But anyway, that'll be a change for Meet the Press, and perhaps I won't hate it as much as I did in the past. Who knows? Who knows? We'll just have to see. Anyway, let's get to a new disaster coming to Europe. Another invasion. Yeah, folks. It appears the red fire ant, the world's most invasive species, has now invaded Europe, specifically Italy. But who can blame them, right? Italy, great food, beautiful scenery, and apparently they heard about a fantastic stinging opportunities. Yeah. So the red fire ant, a highly invasive species from South America, has been discovered in Europe for the first time in Sicily. Researchers found 88 ant nests near Syracuse. These ants are known for their aggressive behavior and painful stings, posing threats to ecosystems and agriculture. It's unclear how they arrived, but transit points with human activity, like the city's port, are suspected. Genetic analysis suggests they came from the United States or China. Well, that narrows it down. This invasion could spread across Europe with many suitable climates. Invasive species globally cost over $423 billion annually, harming biodiversity and the environment. So I have some suggestions for the Italians where you see any of their, you got to get the queen, okay? So here's how you get rid of these fire ants. I'm from New Mexico. I know how to get rid of these fire ants. What you do, you get yourself a gallon of gasoline, okay? And you just pour it into the hill. You know, you pour half a cup, light it on fire, and all the ants will come scurrying out. And then you do that again. You light it on fire, and more ants will come screaming out. And you do that about a dozen times or so. Eventually, the queen will come out if you keep doing that. You kill the queen, and you're done. And then that nest is gone. Is pouring gasoline into the soil the best for the environment? I don't know. But you can get rid of that's how you get rid of fire ants, with fire. Yeah. I don't know. There might be some other method, but that works pretty well for me. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Reminder, I will be going through all your comments on Rumble and on YouTube in the after show, which is coming up here in just a minute after I get through one more story, which is our good news. We need some good news, so hopefully it's not more cynical news. Yeah, you hear about this new startup, Ravino, in Oregon. They want you to bring your empty wine bottles back to the wineries for refilling. It's like a wine bottle recycling program, but with a twist. Now, I know what you're thinking, Tom. Isn't this just called bringing back the empties? Yeah, here's the deal. In Europe, they've been doing this forever. So Ravino, a startup funded by a U.S.-Dutch resident in Oregon, is introducing a European-inspired concept to the United States, allowing wine drinkers to return bottles to wineries for refilling. In Europe, such systems exist, but in the U.S., where approximately 765 million glass bottles are used annually in the wine industry alone, only a third are recycled. Even fewer are reused. Ravino collects, cleans, sterilizes, sanitizes, takes the labels off the bottle with identifying leaf imprints before returning them to the wineries for refilling. Customers can return bottles directly to wineries or collection points at recycling facilities. The manufacturing process produces bottles rated for 50 reuses, reducing the overall carbon footprint of 85%. So there we go. They're starting in Oregon, and they're going to expand to Northern California next spring. Wow. Rev68 hit me up with a big old fat tip. I appreciate that, Rev68. I want to talk about that in the after show, but I'm just calling that out real quick over on Rumble. Thank you for that. Yeah, this is funny that Oregon, or that the United States has never figured out wine bottle recycling, right? They've never figured out wine bottle recycling. You know, here in Portland, I just put my wine bottles out with my other glass recycling. I didn't even know that you should take it back to the winery. So now I know. You save your bottles and you just drop them off at the winery. I hope you don't have to take them to the same winery you bought them from, because I like wine from lots of different wineries. And I think if I have to drive around, that's probably not the best use of gas, you know. But I'm glad that they making some progress. You know, it's funny. You got something that works somewhere, and it still doesn't work somewhere else. I remember I lived in Austria, I lived in Germany. And over there, you could get beer, right? They just kind of had these standard bottles for beer, like 1 liter green bottles or whatever for your standard, you know, like a lager or something. And you just take them back, and then they wash them and recycle them and fill them again. That was standard operating procedure in the 80s. There's no reason that they couldn't do that here as well. Instead, what we do here is we return the bottles, they smash the bottles. Oh, they melt them down. I just spilled my coffee. There we go. Ugh. There's something called best practices, right? And I don't know why we're not using best practices when it comes to this. Literally, at least, you know, I was there in the 80s. They were able to recycle, and not recycle by smashing and melting and all that. They were able to wash and reuse beer bottles in the 80s in Germany. And we still don't do that here? It's crazy. But at least we're going to do that with wine bottles. So I think that that is a mini micro step in the right direction. Right? So that's some good news. That's something we can celebrate. And I know if you're not in Oregon, you can't do this yet, but perhaps they'll roll this out nationwide. So, yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd give that to you. That was the good news of the day. I will be back on Wednesday with a big idea. Big Idea Wednesday. So that's, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Lot going on. Lot going on with me. And I'll share it soon. I'll share it soon. But anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all your comments and addressing Rev 68. So thank you very much. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Peace. So yeah, here we are. Boom. So look at that. Rev 68 hit me up with $168 tip. Thank you, Rev. Man, I appreciate that so much. He says, I wanted to send this on your 100 show anniversary, but I was driving in the car at the time. Appreciate you, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate you too. And, you know, a lot of times it's been like life has been really weird since the original lockdowns. It's been kind of, you know, extra weird, extra odd. And I really do get a lot out of doing this show and sharing this with all of y'all. Kind of wish it was a lot bigger than it is. But it means something because what it means to me is that I'm doing something that at least some people connect with. And it's nice to have some connection in the world. I'll just share, over lockdowns, the guy I talked with was my neighbor, and he was the guy I talked with every single day over lockdown. Lives like a couple houses away, and I would stop by every day with my dog. On my way walking my dog, on the way back, I would stop and chat with him every day for like 15-20 minutes. And Carl, really awesome dude. And you know, sometimes it's just having someone else in the world that you feel, that you relate to, that you connect with, and that's it means a lot more than the other person may know. Carl meant a lot to me. He passed away on Friday. Yeah, and that was real tough. But I think that's one thing that we all in general don't realize, is that we may have an effect on someone else, or they may have an effect on us, and we don't let them know that. So that I encourage you to do that. If someone has had a positive effect on what you're doing, let them know. I mean, you don't have to do it like Rev did here. I appreciate you, Rev. So thank you for that big ass tip. That means a lot to me. And it tells me that perhaps I'm doing something that you appreciate too. So that's really cool. But Yeah, I went by. I was going by Carl's house when they were wheeling him out to take him away. You know, to the morgue. So that was Friday. So it's been an interesting weekend. Interesting weekend. Let's see what's going on over there on YouTube. On Rumble, OX_00 can hear me fine. The guys lying on the ground in the streets carry their own jabs and they protect themselves daily. Yeah, there's lots of jabs going on here. They actually outlawed public fentanyl use, I believe, in Portland now, last week. I don't know if it's kicked in yet. Hasn't stopped me from finding little aluminum foil, pieces of aluminum foil with little black lines on them, in my yard and next to my car and whatever. But who knows? Maybe we'll see something something about that. Afternoon, Tom. I do want to thanks Natasha for letting me know when I started the show. My stupid one of my things was unplugged and my mic was not working, and I did not check it before the show. And again, it's one of those things. You keep repeating the same lesson until you finally get it. Will I repeat this lesson again? Or will I repeat it? When were these boosters tested? Pickle Jars for Hillary asks. Well, they were probably tested like the other ones were tested. That's what I say. Now, I'm not sure. You can ask your doctor. Good luck with getting an answer. What I found is my doctor doesn't seem to know anything, and he's not very curious about anything, and he doesn't look into anything and doesn't read anything. You'd think I should get a new doctor, perhaps, but it's, yeah. Natasha says, my friend's fathers died last night. His family were all vax aficionados. So I wonder if he got an early booster. I don't know. Pickle Jars for Hillary says, I donated all my boosters. Well, that's good. That's kind of how I feel too. I don't want to hog any of the boosters. So I'm going to leave it out there for anybody that really wants it. I don't want to make it scarce. That's kind of how I feel. But Christopher Foreign says, I think I hate being right all the time. Lots of confirmation bias for sure. I wonder if they tested more than 8 mice this time. Well, at least this time they're making the claim that it's not good. At least this time they're saying, it's not going to stop you from getting mild symptoms. At least that's they got a different spin on it than, if you get it, you can't catch it or whatever they were saying. There's a ton of confirmation bias. But you know what? Sometimes confirmation bias is true. Sometimes it's true. You just have to be aware that it is a bias. I have my own confirmation bias, and you can try this too. Next time you're driving, and there's someone that is going fast or slow in the fast lane, or whatever, they're on their phone and they're not paying attention, and the light changes, right? And pull up next to them and just look and see who it is, and see who it isn't. And I will tell you, that's a lot of confirmation bias. Okay, there's a lot of confirmation bias there. I'd say nearly 100%. Just saying. Tom, there's more cloudy weather where you live, so less opportunity to soak up vitamin D, so more chance of getting sick. But don't take the something regardless of and irregardless. Well, here's the thing with vitamin D, and this is important to know. We all process vitamin D differently, and some people don't process it as well as others. In fact, there are many Black Americans that don't process vitamin D from the sun at all, and that's why it's so important to take a vitamin D supplement. Now, I take a vitamin D supplement every day. along with some other supplements. But actually, the darker you are, see, look at how dark my arms are now. The darker you are, the less vitamin D you will take in from the sun. It seems to be a pretty strong correlation between the two. Not 100%, but that's a pretty strong correlation. So if you are getting, you know, if you got a nice deep tan, if you're going and getting your spray tan done, just know that with your spray tan, you're not getting as much vitamin D from the sun. Yeah. So you might want to supplement with that. But just our cobalt. Okay. I can't wait to overtax our already taxed electric grid with electric vehicles. Well, you know, they say, you know, an electric vehicle uses as much electricity as what, like 2 dozen refrigerators? Something like that. Obviously, we don't have the infrastructure if everyone had an electric vehicle right now. But, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the electrical car situation. In my opinion, I think it's good to explore different things, but I'm certainly opposed to what they're doing to try to get rid of the gas engine, the internal combustion engine. I think we can also make improvements to that as well, right? See, you got to know the right people, or at least the right casting couches. I guess that's talking about Chuck Todd. There's other things with Chuck Todd that may have come into play as to why they chose him. I'm not going to speculate on that, though. Go Q's! Did you go to Syracuse, Christopher? I actually considered going to Syracuse for grad school. But I got the response and the scholarship from the first school I applied to, and applying for graduate school, it cost a couple $100 each school, so I kept my money. But I did send them my scores. Do we tell the Italians to feed the ants oatmeal or kill them off? To kill them off? I don't know. Does oatmeal kill off ants? I didn't know that. I've seen some cool ant art sculptures made by pouring molten metal down an ant hole. Good way to get rid of them. Plus, you have this piece that looks like a tree. That would be an interesting thing, pouring molten metal down an anthill. I can imagine what it would look like. I do remember just getting rid of these red fire ants in Albuquerque when I lived there. And just a little bit of gasoline. That's all it took. And you just keep doing it until the queen comes out. You get rid of the queen, you got rid of the ants. So that is that's the key there. They will make a fortune off Nancy Pelosi. Okay. I don't know if I would... Let's see. I don't know if I would want a reused bottle. Not sure how I would trust the cleaning process. Oh, the cleaning process is just fine. From someone that's done... you know, I used to brew beer and all that. The cleaning process is it'll be just fine. There's nothing to worry about there. In fact, I've done some stuff with some wineries here. Like I've gone out and helped bottle wine. And when you see the whole process, it's really impressive. It's really impressive how all the bottles are washed prior to being filled. Very sanitary, very clean. I would have confidence in it. I wouldn't worry about that. Have I watched Redacted yet? I have not. Thank you for the reminder. I will put that on my list of things to do. I'll try to do that today. Wow, Rev, that is quite generous. Sweet. I agree. Connection is very important. Sorry to hear about Carl. Has moved on. glad he was there to help you stay sane during lockdown. He really was there. It was interesting. He would sit out in his truck, in his driveway every day. I think he had his like mother-in-law staying with him, right? And but he just liked to sit outside during the day, and I would always swing by with a coconut when we were going on a walk. And but I know that he really enjoyed talking to me too, so we were good for each other. It was good. Erie Fairy's listening while she works. That's very nice. Sorry about the first couple of minutes of silence today. That's not my intention. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's all I have for y'all today. I'll be back on Wednesday with a big idea, and I think it's an original one. I think you're gonna like it. So stay tuned for that. Again, thanks, Rev68. Big shout out to you. I appreciate that more than you know. And yeah, have a great day. I'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace.